Hi, hello, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning into Crumpets and Tea with me. Hola y muy bienvenidos a mi canal. Hoy estaremos hablando de algo muy sensible, del abuso sexual. Today on my channel, just a trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about sexual abuse, rape. So let's start off with, let me paint this image. We are Sunday night, we are about to have our date night, and we decide to go on Netflix, and the #1 movie on Netflix is The Woman of the Hour. So we're like, okay, let's watch this movie, The Woman of the Hour, and it's with Anna Kendrick, and she was in Twilight, so automatically I'm like, oh, she was in Twilight, and we played the movie. Within the first minutes or so, I'm like, what's going on, right? I'm like, oh, this is strange, what's going on? I'm like, okay, what is this movie about? And then, minutes into it, I'm like, I start feeling tense, I'm shaking, I'm shivering, I start feeling uncomfortable. And as we're getting into the movie, I'm like, what are we watching? This is uncomfortable. And we turned it off maybe within 45 minutes into the movie, maybe an hour, and I am maybe less. And when I start walking back and forth. I'm breathing heavily. I am just walking. I am feeling uneasy. I am feeling a heaviness in my body. I am feeling tense. I am feeling my pelvic floor and my womb tensed up. I am feeling my legs become shaky. I am feeling my back really tense, really heavy. I'm feeling my shoulders really tense. I'm feeling my jaw clenched up. I'm feeling my heavy breathing. I can feel the heavy breathing. I'm heavily breathing. Pacing back and forth. I'm uneasy, and I'm like, this was not a good idea. And I'm saying that out loud. This was not a good idea. Why was there no trigger warning? Why I didn't know? I wasn't aware. I would not have put myself in that situation. Oh no, this is not good. I'm not feeling well. I'm having a lot of images. I'm having a lot of memories. And well, that night I did some meditation. I did some yoga. I did some somatic therapy where I touch myself and I relieve that sort of pain and I accept that pain, and it's really uncomfortable to go through that pain. Let me just tell you, it's super uncomfortable. I feel that pain on my body. I try to give myself that reassurance that I am safe. I do the whole hugs, which is what they say. I'm doing the hugs. I'm, leaning and massaging my body. I'm leaning back and forth. I'm giving myself that safety. I am reassuring my body that I am safe in the here and now, and I'm doing the 5 senses, which is, what do I see, what do I hear, what do I smell, all those. And it's helping to stay almost like present, but my body is still feeling it. And I tell my partner what's happening, what I feel. I'm telling him that was the worst idea for that I did not know that was gonna come up for me, that I was gonna feel all of this. And I go to sleep, and I have already been having nightmares, vivid memories, all of that coming up. I had a night terror that night. It was vivid in my head. I felt it. Even now talking about it, it's still difficult because this is real for me. I'm watching the show where they're portraying a serial killer who, I would say serial rapist and a serial killer, because let's name it for what it is. He was raping little girls who were 8 years old. He got away with it. They were 8. He got away with, that's the only one we know of. This is the thing. When we say these things, this is the only one we're aware of, because because that's the one that got reported. And so here's this little girl who was 8 years old, and she was raped by him, and she was almost killed by him. Luckily, someone followed him and they were able to call 911. And this was back in the, I think it was 60s or 70s. And so here we are today now, where there's this person. The premise of the show is for people to be aware, right? For people to watch it and be aware that this happens and that there's a serial killer on the loose, and let's put yourself in the position of all these women, and this is just the woman we know of. It could have happened to, you know, minimum 100 women, but this is just the one we know of. And I am a woman. I lived through that. I've been told about all the dangers since I can remember, all the dangers of going hiking alone, all the dangers of walking alone at night, all the dangers of walking literally anywhere during the day by myself. I've been told of all the possibilities, and this is the thing. We're told as women to say no, to cover up, to sit down correctly, to be a lady, to dress, you know, in a decent, modest way, to not flirt, to not give them a raise, and to not drink enough, to not drink to a point where we don't remember, to respect ourselves. All these things we are told as women. Society tells us, people tell us. And here's this show, and the show is supposed to tell us about the serial killer, and it's supposed to depict it in a way that we're not glamorizing the man, and we're not feeling empathy for this man who was sexually abused as a child, and now he turns into a rapist. And this is not about that. This is about looking at it from a woman's perspective, and how these women, you know, were caught in these situations. But that infuriates me. Because we can be told as many times as possible to say no. I can tell you right now that I said no, and it still happens. We're told to say stop. I can tell you right now that I said stop, and it still happened. I can tell you right now that I've been told to dress a certain way, and I did, and it still happened. I can tell you all of the many things that were told to me, they still happened. And so I was talking to a friend about this show, because it triggered me so much. I couldn't sleep last night. I was waking up screaming. I was waking up crying. I was waking up feeling all of this anxiety. And I'm not blaming that on the show. Obviously, it triggered me. I lived through that. This, what I'm watching on TV, I lived it in real life. I have that personal lived experience. So for me, it's not, I don't have to watch a show to inform me. I can tell you right now, I can inform you that the social justice system, the justice system itself, needs to be informed. The lawyers, the district attorneys, the people who work for our counties, our cities, law enforcement, you know, the rigorous investigation, the questions that they ask, the things we have to go through. We're told to report, right? So that these men can be off the streets. And when we do, we're questioned. We're doubted. We're shamed. Where it's like these loopholes of, but were you wearing this? But were you intoxicated? But did you know this person? Yes, the majority of assaults are committed and are done by people who we know they are. And so I was talking to a friend this morning, because I was just really extremely triggered and crying all day today for the most part. And I was just like, why are these shows made? Why are we not teaching law enforcement? Why is law enforcement not being trained to understand rape? Why don't they understand what PTSD is or what it does to you? Why is there a statute of limitations, which means that you have to report within a certain amount of time, otherwise you can't? Do they not understand what we go through, what it really entails? We're living this. Our bodies are remembering. We're having panic attacks. We're having night terrors. We're having flashbacks. We're having everything, the worst of the worst of the worst. And then when we report it, we're being asked millions of questions again and again and again and again and again. And then they can't do anything. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's infuriating. It angers me. And it's disappointing to know that this is the society we live in. This is the society we live in, that we continue to perpetuate this. That we should be watching these shows to take care of ourselves, to not fall for the charming, trusting person. That when we go to a family party, we should say stop, we should say no, that we should have this instinct. And it's just incredible how we continue to do. I think there wants to be this sort of new thing where it's like, yes, the Me Too happened, and yes, Me Too, and all of this, and there's still not enough on consent for boys, for men. How are we teaching? How are we raising the next generation of boys? And I have friends who are raising their boys with so much, consciously. They're raising them consciously, where they're teaching them the word consent. They're teaching them the words permission to hug you. Do I have permission to hug you? Can I hug you? Do you want a hug? No. And they're teaching them to play with dolls and to be in tune with their emotions, because that also is something big, to be in tune with your emotions and be allowed to cry and be allowed to feel your feelings and not repress them, and to access that part of them, right? The yin and the yang. And those are conscious parents, conscious parenting. Conscious parenting is literally being aware of the parent who you want to be. And I think that should be the conversation. I hope that that's the conversation that comes up from this. Is how are we raising the next generation of boys? Those boys are going to grow up to be men. And I am just so exhausted of hearing all of these conversations in regards to women. Why do we continue to blame the women? Why do we continue to blame the woman? Why do we continue to ask if she was intoxicated? Why do we continue to ask what she was wearing? Why do we continue to ask why she didn't report? Why do we continue to ask why it took her so long to report? We're seeing cases where women are coming forward and reporting. Yes, it takes a while. It takes a while. We are going through so much, that our body is going through so much. And there needs to be a shift in the culture where we begin to question, why did the man do that? Why did the man abuse the woman? Why didn't the man stop? When the woman said stop, why didn't the man stop? When a woman said no, why didn't the man accept that? And like, okay, you said no. When a woman feels uncomfortable and she wants to stop talking to you, why don't you respect that? Why doesn't the man respect that? Why does the man also, when a woman doesn't feel comfortable giving a person a hug, why does that person say, well, you gave the other person a hug, you don't want to give me a hug, but you gave that other man a hug, why don't you want to give me a hug? What makes you so entitled to receive a hug? If I don't feel comfortable and a woman doesn't feel comfortable, why should we give you a hug? Why? Why? Seriously, why? Why do men, where does this entitlement come from? That men feel that that entitlement to say, well, you didn't give me a hug and you gave him a hug, or why can't you hang out with me? Where is this coming from? Why can we not? Why don't we teach them? Why don't we teach them? Why don't we teach them that we have to ask? And if a woman says no, it means no. No means no. Stop means stop. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. Even if she said yes earlier and she says no now, it means no. We are allowed to change our minds. We are allowed to dress how we want to dress. We are allowed to drink. We are allowed to be humans. Men can go out and men can do a lot of things. And men are not questioned for the way they dress. Men are not questioned if they were intoxicated. I understand these shows are created, these movies are created to inform the public, to inform them of a serial killer, to inform them of how much pain and hurt and trauma he caused. And I am so proud of all the women that come forward as well, and the women that speak up. And I am also proud of the women that can wake up, and live their day and attempt to live their life after this has happened to them. Even if you don't come forward, even if you don't report, just you alone surviving and you alone living your day-to-day life is huge. It is so huge. Someone violated us. We were violated. Someone touched us inappropriately. And whether that was as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, as an adult, it happened and it's valid. And I want to offer this space to just take a couple moments I am so sorry if that has happened to you. It was not your fault. It was not your fault. It was not your fault. I have to remind myself that I'm safe because my body will remember. My body will remember and my body will take me back to those moments. I have to remind myself that I am safe. I'm sorry if that has happened to you. I'm here. You're not alone. I still feel it in my pelvic floor. I still feel it in my womb. I feel it in my entire body. It's not something that goes away magically. It's not something that goes away. Something that's here, and I am doing my research. I'm trying to find anything I can to help me heal, to help me in my healing journey. I'm trying to find anything that I can, anything. If you have any suggestions, anything that has worked, or you know of any type of programs or therapy that helps, please let me know. I'm searching for anything that will help me. I've done EMDR. It decreases, it lessens the pain, I guess. But I still have it. I still feel it. If there's anything that anyone knows of, please let me know. I am willing to try anything because this is interfering with my life. This is interfering with my present. I don't want to live. I don't want to live feeling like I'm haunted, like it's haunting me. I don't want to live like that. I want to find healing. I want to find that peace. I want to be able to go to sleep and not have nightmares. I want to be able to go to sleep and not feel afraid that I'm going to have a night terror. I want to go to sleep without waking up in the middle of the night, hyperventilating and reliving it, carrying that with me throughout the day, where my body is tense and I feel like this anxiety where I'm constantly looking over my shoulder because I have that worry and uneasiness. I want to say thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this space with me. Thank you for witnessing me and my vulnerability. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye.